1 lizard, 1 frog, 5,903 rats, and a dream. Total Warhammer 3, a game with hundreds of unique units that we're not using. Because today, we're seeing if you can beat the game with heroes only. That means no infantry, no cavalry, no monsters, and no 99% of the roster. Only heroes. So getting into the game, our campaign is of course going to be the Immortal Empires campaign. And out of all the different factions we could go with for a heroes only challenge, we're gonna go with the Lizardmen, who do have a pretty significant of very strong legendary lords, and we are going to go with gor-rok. But before we get into the video, a word from a very special sponsor, Display, with unique metal posters and now featuring Warhammer designs. Each metal poster isn't just sturdy, it's great for fighting off armed intruders, but light enough that you don't need to be forklift certified. The process to hang them requires no power tools, no nails, and no work-related accidents. Probably. First, find a good spot for your poster. Personally, I like the bathroom mirror, letting me wake up and self-actualize. Just peel off the sticker, put it on the wall, add the magnet, and great, you did it. It works like witchcraft, but instead of heresy, it's powered by my undying loyalty to the Imperium. If you make a mistake installing it, don't worry, the posters are easy to adjust. Now, whenever I'm feeling down, I just look to my left and remember, it could always be worse. There's a pretty insane amount of different designs, like this Fallout New Vegas poster and Frostpunk title recreation. So use my code Kleaper to get a discount on all designs until November 29th. But act quickly with delivery in only 4 to 5 days, and don't keep the Empire waiting. Okay, with that said, back to Dino Town. So loading into the campaign itself and getting onto the map, there's a very specific reason that we chose gor-rok, and that would be his best friend, a dead frog. Because we are doing a heroes only run, that means that at the very start of this campaign, you see all these really great Saurus units, skinks, oh, a Bastillodon with a revivification crystal. Yeah, no, we can't use any of that. So now our army is literally just gor-rok. And we are also going to put Lord Croak in there because Lord Croak is absolutely insane. Because Lord Croak starts with all of his legendary items and is one of the best spellcasters in the entire game. So as much as I know this fight is probably not going to look so great for us, yeah, I mean, you know, we're fighting an entire army with literally 2 units, it's actually not nearly as bad as it seems. Gor-rok himself has pretty much only one ability, and it is the fact that he is absurdly tanky. Right now, he has pretty reasonably good stats. I mean, 100 armor, 60 melee defense, and because he's just a very small person, it's hard to kill him. Well, I mean, I say small, he's actually ginormous. Lord Croak, on the other hand, is essentially a dead frog. A Salon Mage Priest who is so powerful that when he died, he simply decided to not be dead and then resurrected himself. It's gonna be a pretty common theme that in our battles, it is 2 versus 245, and that's probably the best odds it's going to be for the rest of the game. The thing that makes Lord Croak so powerful is he really only has 3 spells, the Deliverance of Itzo 1, 2, and 3, and I will show you in just a second what they actually do, because right now, gor-rok is just going to run around and fight people. That's it. And if you didn't think he was tanky, he gets 40% physical resistance, and then Lord Croak can also give him 40% more damage resistance. So now that gor-rok has pretty much got everybody into one big blob, we can use Lord Croak over there to just completely nuke everybody in the area. So in pretty much one spell, he has almost killed all the units over here. And because gor-rok is so tanky, we can just leave him in the fight for pretty much an unlimited amount of time, and he will not die. So the first spell we used was Deliverance of Itza 3, and that's like the most powerful version. So right here, this is the first one, and it does a pretty moderate amount of damage. Oh god, no, Nurgle's realizing that we're just walking Lord Croak over here and now all these toads are after us. Lord Croak himself is not actually that tanky, but he is unbreakable, so he'll never rout. And you know, the fact that he can just launch nuclear bombs, okay, that was pretty good. Meanwhile, gor-rok is pretty much just going to single-handedly kill all of these units because he is just that tanky. And now the rest of the battle is pretty much just me fast-forwarding while gor-rok beats the crap out of this Nurgle follower over here. Is it a close fight? No, not really. So as bad as it might seem that our units are now almost completely dead, the best thing we can do is immediately walk over here to fight the next garrison. In terms of level ups, it's actually going to be very weird because since we're going with heroes only, these bottom 2 branches, which are normally the ones that you want to go with almost always, completely don't matter. Most of these buffs don't affect heroes. Most of these buffs don't really affect heroes. And so the main things that we want are all these top ones, which basically just make gor-rok better at fighting people. Because our boy over here is going to become the tankiest lizard in the entire world. Lord Croak, on the other hand, pretty much just gets stronger in terms of spell casting. We can reduce the Winds of Magic cost for most of his spells and just make him generally insane. He also gets regeneration at some point, and even gor-rok gets regeneration, I think, a little bit late. Yeah, okay, that's kind of unfair. But either way, we can just walk over here to the next garrison and, you know, crushing defeat. The game seems to think we're gonna lose this, you know, with our 2 almost dead heroes. You're not just wrong.
You're stupid.
The last time we did bomb rush the enemy, and we're just not gonna do that. I am going to sit here for the next 3 minutes and wait until my Winds of Magic gets maxed, because I have no reason to move. Okay, great. This has been an exhilarating 7 minutes of the fight. All right, unfortunately, they're all trying to surround Lord Croak, but I should be able to, just Kai blast them into oblivion. And because my mana is essentially maxed, I can just then do it again and kill almost the entire Nurgle army in 2 spells. Oh my god, we're already winning the fight. Okay, actually, I was right. We won the fight in 2 spells. Well, that was completely broken. If you haven't realized by this point, melee infantry are essentially no problem to us, because gor-rok just tanks everything, and then Lord Croak just literally kills everyone. Right, so now that our first turn in terms of battles is done, we can look at the other most interesting part of this, which is our buildings. Because we're only using heroes, most of the buildings in the game really don't matter. So, for example, this one, which trains dinosaurs, we don't care because it doesn't give us any benefit in terms of training heroes. The other thing that really doesn't matter all that much is money. So right here, we could build a gold mine, but as the first thing we build instead, I want it to be a spawning pool in order to get skink chiefs. Okay, well, we did get kind of unlucky, but it isn't the end of the world. The problem is that when we kill the first army, the second army that spawns is always this great unclean one, and fighting a great unclean one with only 2 heroes is very hard. What we do have to do is sit out here a couple of turns in channeling stance to get more Winds of Magic, and then we can walk over here and try and fight him. Because Nurgle's faction mechanics in terms of recruiting are very weird, we do get to just sit here for multiple turns in a row, and he's never going to recruit any units because he has to wait a long time for them. The end result is that I have waited here for 7 turns just channeling power. So now that I've waited long enough, I can recruit a skink chief. We can get Joe Oxodel. 2 X's in a row? Really? But we can walk up to this and begin to encircle the city, then get our skink chief over here to put him into the army. The thing that makes skink chiefs so insanely strong is because at higher levels, they get stegodons and ancient stegodon mounts, which are massive dinosaurs. And because we can get access to skink chiefs very easily and increase our hero capacity for skink chiefs in basically every single city we capture, our armies are just gonna be like 19 skink chiefs. So now we can try and fight this out. It's still not very favored, but we might be able to do it. And as always, time to wait for 5 minutes while my Winds of Magic goes up to 100. God, it's a good thing that I could fast forward, or else I would be sitting here for, I think, 12 minutes. I have half a mind to just go and get some food from my fridge, but a lot like this guy, I'm too lazy to get up. 14 minutes later, and we finished. I'm sure our boy Methanian is just sitting over here being a little impatient. Okay, so now we can get everybody all locked into one area, which is great for us. Skink priests do have a ranged attack, and we're gonna try to use it on Methanian, but I'm not entirely sure if it's gonna do a lot of damage to his 12,000 health fat belly. That man has got mass. Oh my god, Lord Croak is just walking and punting everybody out of the way. He's pretty big himself. Now, while Nurgle may of course have many layers of fat, we have, you know, our magical nuclear bombs. Gor-rok is just continuing to tank like a champion while we keep detonating bombs right on top of his head, which, I mean, you know, props to him. And our skink chief is just running away from poor little, well, not little, Methanian. Yes, I feel like I've seen this somewhere before. Probably on hentai. All right, finally, we've killed pretty much all the other Nurgle units, and it's just Methanian versus Gor-rok, which honestly, I think Gor-rok wins that fight. It probably helps that our skink chief is just continuously shooting blow darts right between Methanian's cheeks. Specifically, which cheeks, I don't know. All right, after a good 2 minutes of Gor-rok just beating on this guy, I mean, it looks like we're gonna actually take out the Nurgle faction. Right, so with Nurgle's faction gone, that means we're not really at war with anyone right now, I think. Or at least if we are, it's nobody particularly close to us, which is good. The Scaven are down here, so we are gonna probably have to go to war with them very soon, but the Scaven are probably the easiest faction for us to fight because they're all infantry. Oh, and just like clockwork, you must be exterminated. Thanks, gor-rok. I really needed that. Wait, what? Oh, for a second I thought the Scaven were giving me money. No, I don't, rejecting this will result in war. Okie dokie. Because we don't really have any more hero recruitment capacity, what I can do is just start recruiting more lords because money is never really going to be a problem. So we could get Gorm over here, the Kroxagor Ancient, whose literal only purpose is just be really angry. Oh, wow, look at this very useful event. Do we get recruitment cost minus 50% for skinks or minus 50% for sources? I don't care. Right, I know this might seem bad, you know, the fact that we are fighting quite a number of Skaven, but this fight is actually vastly more in our favor than it might seem. 3 versus 4,182 units. That's actually less than I thought it would be. So we do just need to sit in the corner, wait for our reinforcements, because the truth is our units are probably never going to break. gor-rok has 89 leadership, Roke has 100, and the Skink Chief might break. Okay, what are you guys doing? They're just spawning random units back here now, and I think they're going to instantly get terror routed and run. I mean, in a sense, this actually works out well for us because it is wasting all of their depth. What are you doing, Master Assassin? You have made the greatest mistake of your life. Well, I'll admit, I wasn't expecting the Skaven Lord to just walk over here and willingly get turned into a piece of glass. But hey, I'm not gonna say no. I also gave Lord Croak a bunch of barrier, which helps out pretty significantly in terms of him not dying. All right, and now the real battle begins, which is just the giant cluster blob fest that is going to happen over here. Either way, we pretty much just fast forward now and let all the Skaven run into one ball around our 4 heroes. Meanwhile, we, you know, detonate our bombs. There we go, a little magical airstrike. How many kills was that? 260? And we just broke almost every unit of the fight. I like how they keep trying to get around us in order to surround. I mean, I don't think our units have any problem being surrounded. Well, I'd say that was a pretty... We've almost won the fight already, okay? We've killed almost half the Skaven. One spell just completely routed everyone. We are almost out of, well, no, we're not even almost out of magic. And all of my units have taken almost no damage. There is still the next wave of, well, the entire other rest of the Skaven army, but, you know, we're just gonna not care. Even if I use the weakest version of Lord Croak's spells, they still do a pretty crazy amount of damage. Right, well, with that one last attack, Lord Croak is at 994 kills. And the Skaven are trying to stop him. That's not really working out so well for them. After a little bit of fast forwarding, which is really all it took, and a couple more spells, you know, we're up to 1,002 kills on Lord Croak. I didn't even notice that the Skaven had a whole nother 17 units next to the city that just declined to get into the fight because they were too afraid. I don't think it's gonna matter much though, because even though most of my guys are almost dead and they have gotten a fresh new 17 units, I think we could still siege the city down. All right, so the plan is basically just deploy all the ways on the side here. That is quite a few units. But if we could sneak up right to the side of the wall, we basically prevent ourselves from being hit by any of the towers, and then we could just break down the doors. All right, the Skaven AI is getting very confused. While I'm not entirely sure what's happening anymore, I just see Skaven and effects and things, and I'm just gonna assume we're winning. 5 units versus 5,903. Honestly, I'd say it's a little unfair for them. Right, well, I've had to pull out of the city because I'm kind of running low on winds of magic, so we're using Lord Croak to kite out all the ammunition from the Skaven slave slingers. Not really something I thought I'd be doing in this playthrough, but here we are. All right, minute 30. Give it up for minute 30. I've been grinding here for 30 minutes, and I've used about 200 winds of magic already. Lord Croak is at 1,200 kills, and gor-rok has just been grinding 650 in the mosh pit. They've just been beating down every single unit they could get their hands on, and apparently creating, like, a singularity. Oh my god, that was 40 minutes of my time, at least in the in-game timer, but in the end, we actually somehow did it, and the kill counts are rather insane, with everybody getting... yeah, you know, a couple. One of the major reasons I picked gor-rok is because all of the enemies that he tends to fight are usually Skaven at first, Scaven or Nurgle, and because those are mostly infantry-based armies, we roll over them. Okay, that's kind of unfortunate. I didn't even realize that there was another Skaven faction just above us. This is my favorite part of playing Total War games. The spending 10 minutes to waste all the ranged units' ammunition. gor-rok truly is the master of the dance. And there's another 1.5k kills from Croak, okay. But we are gonna lose Oxodal here, but we did get our main capital yet. Please, Peggy Rogers, don't do anything silly. Luther Harkin to our north is obviously very scary, but he does hate the Scaven, so our relations are improving? I am gonna have to fight Lord Scroll over here, which kind of sucks because he is not an easy opponent. He basically has an ability called the Liber Bubonicus, which is just a point and click deal something like 3,000 damage. Kinda bad. And of course, my first act in the great battle against Lord Scroll is to just sit here and kite until he runs out of ammo on his catapults. And of course, the rest of the fight is just detonating Scroll's entire army. That's cool, Luther, but I'm gonna pay you $3,000 to go away.
Obviously.
Oh my god, we're at the point that I could actually just straight up auto-resolve this. I mean, I'm not gonna, but still. Now, because I can't prevent the garrison from coming at all, what I will do is just move them all the way to the other side of the map, way in the corner. Further down the line, we might not be able to avoid using garrisons because I can't get rid of them, but we'll see. Because right now, anyways, it's literally just the Skaven scouring the trees trying to find my one Kroxigor ancient just hiding way over here. And there we go. The squad is gonna roll in now, and we will pretty much proceed to dumpster everyone. Our army is pretty good in a blob fight, as you can see, because it's pretty much just all AoE and really, really strong single entity units. I mean, their warlord over here is trying his best, but he is getting the gator beat down. That sounds like a Florida football play. Maybe it is. Oh no, I'm getting ambushed by Skrulk. That's, that might actually be good for me. The nice thing about having these armies of all heroes is that the AI will continuously attack into me because it thinks I'm weaker. Little do they know. Oh no, wherever will these Skaven ambushers be? Seriously, it's been a little bit. What gives? Oh, there they are. We spotted them from somehow. And gor-rok has gotta have the best eyes in the entire world. This man just saw through an entire canopy of trees to see like a couple Skaven. Okay, this is actually potentially scarier than I thought it was because not only are we fighting Skrulk's army, but apparently we're fighting a second one too. Fortunately, it only took one cast to get 800 kills. We just took out his entire army in a single spell. I have never seen that many kills, I think, in a single cast of some spell. That, well, that was incredible. All right, what's cast number 2 gonna do? I mean, cast number 1 was 800. Okay, that was, you know, a measly 400 kills. Pathetic, really. And the very last one is potentially, okay, there was 500 kills. All right, great. So now we can just tell both of our guys to withdraw. Now, and he'll just surrender, which is fine, which is the equivalent. All right. Finally, we've gotten gor-rok to level 10. I was saving up 3 skill points when I got here because this allows us to get his top line of skills, which gives a bit of physical resistance with perfect vigor, which is pretty good. And then for this one, we will take a bunch of melee defense and then also take, finally, a mighty opponent so that he is able to basically terrify entire armies of Scaven himself because the last thing we get is passive regeneration and battle healing cap plus 100%. Essentially what this means is that gor-rok will be practically immortal. Right, I decided to just come back and clean up the rest of the army now that Skrulk died. It's clean up, we're doing indeed. Gor-rok has basically reached peak godhood in terms of physical resistance, and their leaders are getting clubbed to death like a baby seal. Oh, let me guess, another war declaration. Actually, what I imagine is happening is everybody thinks I'm super weak, so they're all just rushing to declare war on me. Not realizing that I'm probably, yeah, like this army right here, this looks really scary. I don't think I'm gonna lose this though. You know, I'll admit, I wasn't much of a lizardman guy, but watching gor-rok single-handedly beat down several assassins and a warlord and all these infantry is kind of changing my mind. I don't even care about the dinosaurs, I just care about the Doomslayer lizard over here. Okay, and after that pretty easy battle, now we can go in here and get the great white lizard to make him have regeneration, and so, you know, making gor-rok very close to unkillable. So if he was surviving beating down 1,000 people on his own, it's about to get a whole lot more degenerate. What we can also do now is I have started to get those level 3 spawning pools, which increases our skink chief capacity, meaning we can start to build an actual army. Also, that is an insane one. Hero recruitment +2 in the local province. Don't mind if I do, considering the only thing we're doing is recruiting heroes. The fact that gor-rok has regeneration now means that I'm entering battles not to just win the battle, but because we're actually netting health. So we're gonna come out of this pretty small fight over here with more health than whatever we started. Oh, that's pretty bad. I didn't realize the Dark Elves were gonna walk over over here so quickly, but, well, please don't do that. You know what? Okay. This fight I can't really do anything about. I kind of have to use the garrison because there's no other units in the entire city. This also just so happens to be our capital, which, you know, would be kind of bad if we lost that. I also forgot that one of gor-rok's special abilities is that all of our units do gain barrier when they are defending. Barrier kind of functions like temporary health, sort of like Protoss StarCraft shields, where it will regen whenever you're not in combat. It's only 500, but it's actually really helpful. But we've won the battle, and I'm not entirely sure that Rakarth could even get out. We've just pressed him against the wall with a whole bunch of Cold Stun Riders. Well, that was a unclimactic death. Right, well, it looks like it's time for the Siege of Axolotl round 2. You know, something tells me that I shouldn't walk through this door, and it's not just the 4 groups of Rattling guns placed all around the entrance. What I will do is have gor-rok just pull a ladder out of, I don't know, the ethereal realm, and then try to fight their leaders up here. It should be clustered enough that the Scaven aren't gonna friendly fire their own units. Maybe? Counting on Scaven not friendly firing is probably not a very good plan, but we'll see how it goes. In the meantime, though, I might be able to just sneak my skink chiefs up here and shank this guy London style. Or maybe get shot by the Rattling gunners, friendly fired. I suppose that makes sense too. Okay, on the bright side, I just fast forwarded through that. I think the Rattling guns are doing a whole lot more friendly fire damage than we are. All right, I basically got tired fighting the main army, so I kind of just walked past them with all of our damage resistance, and we're just going straight to the main victory point. Somehow this is an easier plan than fighting the army. Works like a charm. Right, so that means we can take Axolotl once again, which is nice, because, I mean, the only way we're gonna get an actually decent army is with lots and lots of cities to increase our hero capacities. We're also getting mounts and leveling up our skink chiefs, which is great, because as soon as we can get these skink chiefs up to level 18, I think it is, all we need is a couple of stegodons, and the game is basically over. Well, besides the being at war with probably everyone around us thing. But that's a problem for later. All right, I am gonna go over here and ally Tenenwan, just bribe him a bunch of money for a non-aggression pact, because he's actually taken most of the southern peninsula, and his army is standing on Axolotl. If he wasn't a lizardman, I would be kind of scared right now. I do need to clear up all the Scaven in the area right now, so we'll go in and attack this army. Oh my god, I'm realizing I don't even need to use Lord Croak right now. Gor-rok himself is just going to mangle all of the infantry, and I don't think he's really taking any damage. So I'm preparing myself to watch essentially this happening for the next 20 minutes. And now he is just 2v1ing these 2 chieftains over here, and they are barely scratching him even at all. These battles are starting to end a little predictably, with Lord Croak getting 900 kills without even trying. God, I keep looking through our research tree and hoping that there's anything that actually helps us, and weapon strike plus 10% for skink doesn't affect heroes, recruit rank for sources doesn't affect heroes, melee defense for sources doesn't affect heroes. Pretty much all of the research-based stat bonuses don't do anything. You know things are desperate when you're sending your grand armies of 1 Kroxigor Ancient in one army and another Kroxigor Ancient and a Skink Priest of Beasts. I don't know if they can take on this entire Dark Elf garrison and army, but it seems possible. Okay, well, it seemed possible until I realized they had a gold rank war hydra. We can probably come over here and take out another Scaven settlement. Oh, I was gonna say hopefully, but yeah, this is not even gonna be close. Step 1, gor-rok walks forward. Step 2, so I cornered a random Scaven army over here, and you know it's bad when they retreat from only 4 heroes. Well, this is going about as I imagined it, just 3 Kroxigor Ancients bulldozing their way through the entire Scaven army. The nice thing about having heroes only is that I am super rich, which is why I am going to pay these guys over here $17,000 for a non-aggression pact. I literally cannot afford to fight this army because it is all Orc Archer boys and Boar boys. You know, I love how the Skaven cities are all hidden from view as if I wouldn't see them. I mean, I wonder who resides at the Altar of the Horned Rat. The first several minutes of every siege are always delightful. It's just me running to the side, using up all the army abilities of the Skaven, and then watching gor-rok pummel his way through the door with his bare hands. I also keep forgetting that our skink chiefs do have an ability while they're on the Pterodon. Instead of using a bunch of fancy spells, we could just use the greatest tactic of all, and that's just dropping a rock on their head. Well, that was about as good as I thought dropping a rock on someone's head would be. All right, I am gonna peace out with Clan Spittle because I need to deal with Scroll over here. Clan Spittle, I think these are their last 2 cities, So hopefully we can wipe Skrolk out and then be done for good with him. Actually, I say that, but Skrolk has 0 settlements. So as long as we can keep him from taking one relatively soon, we should be looking pretty good. Okay, well, I guess I'm just an idiot because why is Skrolk attacking with 9 groups of warp grinders? And then where did rakarth come from in order to reinforce him? Words cannot explain how confused I am right now. I've brought every single army I have here because I'm pretty sure if I go to siege, yes, we are fighting the garrison, Lord Skrolk, and the entire Dark Elf army. Well, it looks like gor-rok is going to have to single-handedly carry this entire fight and kill probably most of this army. Right, well, I just realized that rakarth's army is going to spawn over here, so if gor-rok is able to just sit here and cluster everybody into a ball, maybe we can win. All right, gor-rok, now is your time to shine against the entire Dark Elf army. Rakarth himself is the scariest for, well, you can pretty much see why. All right, luckily it looks like the Dark Elves are trying to just blob up around gor-rok as much as possible. All right, gor-rok, you just need to sit here and take it like a champion. I mean, he's trying his hardest. Okay, we may have just gotten incredibly lucky because rakarth is, I think he's just running towards the city to try to get away from us, which, I mean, he was destroying us in the fight, so it works out for us. Okay, so there's the Dark Elves over here, sort of dealt with. Most of them are in the city now. They did escape, but now I need to wrap all the ways back around in order to get to this little blind spot in the towers over here. The most difficult thing we have to do out of killing all of these units is pretty much just killing rakarth, because he is a massive damage dealer and is probably the only person on the map who can go toe-to-toe with gor-rok. Just about everybody else, gor-rok can probably solo. We are 17 minutes into the battle and almost nothing has happened. Oh, and there we go, just like clockwork, the second Liber Bubonic is charged. We can pop 40% damage resist, and that brings us up to actually almost maxed out against the ability. I'm also trying to unload all of my skink ammo onto rakarth. The skinks do a pretty decent amount of range damage, and if we just dump all the ammo they have into him, I mean, he might die. Okay, never mind, I take it back. Rakarth got really, really mad about the whole thing, and now I think he wants to 1v1 gor-rok. Not a good idea for him. Especially a bad idea considering the 3 Kroxigor Ancients that are gonna come help beat him down. Oh my god, we actually killed him. We might be able to just lure all the enemies out here slowly. And there he is. Mr. Skrolk is making a bit of a lethal mistake, and that is allowing gor-rok to clap his cheeks. Okay, and there goes Skrolk, just getting torn apart by a giant crocodile. And now the rest of Skrolk's army is slowly filtering through one gap in the wall. I wonder what we could do with that information. I didn't realize that the gate has been so damaged from friendly fire that gor-rok just walks into it and it dies. Oh my god, we hit army losses. And it only took 45 minutes of gor-rok grinding through the entire garrison, 2nd army, and 3rd army. He's got 600 kills. 1 is rakarth, 3 are assassins, I think 3 are masters, 1 is a blood-rack Medusa, and then probably a whole bunch of other stuff I'm not even thinking of. I love to see that we won that battle and took 0 losses. Lord Skrolk's faction is now dead, and the best thing is gor-rok can just do it all over again because, you know, his regen cap resets between battles. So they're free to come over here and try and take the city back, but I don't think it's gonna work out any better than the first time. Oh, and we just got another bonus versus large +8. Of course, even after that siege, I do have to refight the Dark Elves because I didn't really wipe out their army. They just ran away due to army losses. But I'm pretty sure if gor-rok could handle that ×3 last time, this shouldn't be very hard. It's nice that even in scenarios like this, the game thinks that we're going to lose, when I'm pretty sure Lord Croak himself can just beat the whole garrison. Okay, thank God. Finally, Lord Croak is level 16, which means we can give him regeneration, which will make him so much harder to kill than before, which means this death stack has probably just gotten twice as good. I mean, I call it a death stack. It's 4 units, and 2 of them are optional. Well, I'm not sure why I doubted gor-rok. I went into another battle versus a whole bunch of Dark Elf monsters, and he's 1v1'd a Stegodon, a bunch of Feral Cold Ones. He's just beating the crap out of this War Hydra now. I think he killed a Dreadlord somewhere over there, and all around, he's just a, you know, friendly guy who happens to kill giant war beasts for a living. I mean, it's not even us winning, it's just gor-rok. So I just recruited another hero. This is our 3rd skink chief, but I'm trying trying to take only heroes with humble, which means hero recruit rank +2. The thing is, that actually stacks, so the more skink chiefs and the more lords I have with humble, I could just put them all into one province and then start recruiting like level 17 heroes, which is obviously really important because our skink chiefs scale insanely well, going from pterodons to stegodons to ancient stegodons. So if we can recruit them at a high enough level, we're just recruiting ancient stegodons for free. Also, rakarth is obviously very angry at us. We can kind of solve that by giving him $26,000. Done deal. It's also probably about time I deal with this savage orc army that has been raiding my land for, I think, 15 turns. Freeloaders, be gone. Well, hopefully this works out. It's our turn to declare war on the Scaven again and try to wipe out Clan Spittle. Okay, never mind. Their army is hot trash. I don't know why I thought it would be something actual, but you know, 4 heroes? Yeah, that's not enough to even put a dent in gor-rok. It's nice that all of the Scaven settlements seem to have the exact same layout, which means the exact same blind spot on the right side. You can just sit here, grind out all the summons, and then slowly let gor-rok destroy the entire garrison with his bare hands. That's a lot of notifications there at the top right. Yes, I'm aware an enemy building is under attack. I gave the order. So I do have to fight this battle again. I mean, the garrison was more injured this time, but we have unlocked one of the mounts for our skink chief, a stegodon. And as soon as we get him to regen a little bit of health, he is basically going to be as strong as Lord Croak, well, probably stronger than Lord Croak in melee, meaning we actually have some kind of combat ability for once. I mean, you know, besides gor-rok crushing the whole army. As you can see here with them trying to spawn in Scaven to get our back line, but you know, our back line is basically our front line. They're all dinosaurs. You know what I just realized? My skink chiefs get stalk as part of their skill tree, and this one has stalk right now. It's still riding the stegodon. That means that we could hide like 6 feet in front of people's faces while riding a giant dinosaur. Oh, come on, Kazarak. Don't do this to me. Oh, man. Now I think I have to fight another siege battle. I have been recording for, I think, the better part of like 8 or 9 hours. I'm on turn 42. Oh my god. That's okay. What I do need to do right now is take out this Beastman faction, which is unfortunately almost entirely Minotaurs, which is why this fight is going to be atrocious. I take it back. Gor-rok literally killed the entire army. 500 kills, and he took out pretty much every Minotaur. I mean, he's literally just standing there at this point, being completely unfazed, getting hit by a boulder, and then proceeding to just extirpate the Sigor. Not bad, gor-rok. Not bad. Okay, I don't know how. I think right over here, but Clan Spittle just got destroyed, and that should give us our short campaign victory. Actually, no, I take that back. We need to get to 30 different settlements. So if we can occupy 30 different settlements, we will get a hero capacity +3 for all heroes. Excuse me? Also, long victory, hero recruitment +10. I did not realize how good the lizardmen were for this challenge. I mean, this also seems like a perfectly good time to come and just wipe out Mr. Luther Harkin over here.
Out of the question.
This is one of our first times fighting the Vampire Coast, and the one big problem with them is that they're actually very good against our monsters, so against our skink chief on a pterodon over here, and also against our leader Lord Croak, and that's because they have almost all ranged units. But the one thing that ranged units are really bad against, you could probably guess who. Looks like rakarth is back. I mean, I have like $40,000. Just take it. So it seems like Marcus Wolfhard has made the very small mistake of stepping next to all of my armies while trespassing on my land, and also while having a pretty crappy army. Luckily, he doesn't really have any allies. He's kind of a loser. Gor-rok just has the mass to simply bowl through all of the infantry. No one is even stopping him. I'm just walking through the infantry to chase down Marcus. Well, I wasn't paying attention, and Marcus died. Good work, buddy. Good work. So you might have noticed that a lot of turns have passed. I mean, I haven't really shown all that much going on, and that's because I have been trying to grind out specifically getting more of these guys. So as I mentioned earlier, the humble trait essentially increases the recruit rank of all of the heroes in the province. But I've started to stack humble on all of my Kroxigors over here, as well as all my heroes and skinks, and on top of that, we get access to a building called the Star Chamber, which increases the recruit rank by another 2. The end result is that these Saurus Scar veterans recruit at level 14. The skink chiefs recruit at level 13, and same with the priests. And as I construct more star chambers and recruit more units, it's only gonna get higher. Obviously, the goal is to be able to just straight up recruit skink chiefs with Skagadon mounts from the beginning. Okay, and that is beautiful. I just checked the heroes list, and we have another humble lord right over here, so we can go ahead and nab him at level 15. And then I have another one over here, so we can grab him at level 17. So now Saurus Scar veterans start at level 20. These skink oracles, I'll actually maybe I'll grab a pompous one over here just to get another -4 leadership. Oh, that's cool. The oracle just starts on top of a giant dinosaur. And even more insane that the oracles have healing. The big problem that we were running into with gor-rok's army is that only gor-rok and Croak can actually heal, but healing is insanely good on everybody else. The reason is because healing is generally percentage based, so when you heal a percent of this guy's max HP, which is 11,000, it's a lot of health. Right, so I'm trying to take one of the cities from the huntsman, and this is apparently the oracle. He just starts on this mount. Plus our skink chiefs are slowly starting to get on actual mounts, and we have a literal US Air Force of skink chiefs. I can literally just start the battle, fly them over here, and oh, poor them. Their leader is flying. That is perhaps the greatest mistake they could have possibly made. Yeah, he's not gonna survive the beatdown squad. Well, he's certainly trying, but yeah, this is not gonna work out in his favor. So now that we've won the battle, I can just group up all of my injured units into one big ball, and then just start using Overcast Earthblood to heal them as much as I can. Earthblood can only target up to 4 people, so, you know, it's not like we could just use one spell and then regenerate 8 million HP. I wish. But even without that, it's still really strong to be able to do this. Okay, so now if we move gor-rok back into Itza, what level can we get that? So we can get level 20, right, but I believe I saw another humble and another humble over here. And as great as it is that some of our skink chiefs are level 23 and level 20, I actually don't care and I could just disband them, which should give us another slot for skink priests, and that's going right into another humble. Yep, so that brings us up to level 21, and now that means we can recruit these guys at level 24, level 23, level 23, level 23. Which also means that every time we recruit a skink chief, they are immediately given an ancient stegodon. And I can also recruit Saurus Scar veterans, which immediately have carnosaurs. So we're essentially at the point where we can recruit everything maxed out, and even get the Honored Elder perk, which gives control +1 for all provinces, except I can get that on every one of my Saurus Scar veterans. And now by putting everything into gor-rok's army, we have created a disgusting blob of heroes that are all practically max level. All right, it's probably high time that I disband some of our armies because these Kroxigor Ancients are no longer that useful. I will keep our boy Gorm over here. Nothing gets me more hyped than this guy. But besides that, money is actually starting to become an issue because I have one army that uses all of it. Oh my god, we're finally getting to the point where I could fight 3 Cygors and auto-resolve without losing anything. Now these are the kind of battles I like to see. I mean, gor-rok has not come this far to not obliterate some Empire ass. So of course it's the entire Empire army versus the Dino squad. There's also a random general coming in from behind, but pretty sure we have him handled. Well, this fight is going about as you would expect, with the entire army being run over by dinosaurs. Gor-rok is having his own fun little time fighting halberds, you know, 150 dead ones. And there's army losses. I'm sorry, wait, is this Cathay? Where? Why are you here? Don't you live somewhere like all the ways, you know, just a little bit, just a tiny bit more right over here? I mean, the only people it sucks for is them, because I am gonna have to step on them in order to keep moving up the peninsula. Whoa, Marcus Wolfhard, you okay there, buddy? An army tailored to fight specifically mine? Try again. You know, I've started to get lazy with the battles, but I'm not even sending gor-rok in. I'm just blobbing up our entire army and moving through everything. I mean, come on, what's gonna stop this? Plus, with Lord Croak's AoE 40% damage resistance, we just have a whole army of dinosaurs that can't die. So because there's an army on the top that's probably gonna declare war on us, I do need to split up our forces, and of course I'm doing that by moving all of our heroes to one army. Gorm over here is under control of even Lord Croak and literally everybody, and the second army, it's just gor-rok. I am that confident that that I could just walk over here to this settlement and siege it down with gor-rok alone. Oh my god, I could just auto-resolve it. It's a heroic victory. He got 1,000 kills and took no damage on the auto-resolve. Marcus literally sees gor-rok at the gates and he's like, okay, please, I can't fight this war. And just as I expected, the Jade Dragon is going to declare war on us, but I'm pretty sure our army is vastly better. Okay, I think my favorite part about this is that because gor-rok has no AoE, this has been 31 minutes of gor-rok clubbing 983 people to death by hand. I am so impressed right now, which should mean that the faction of the Hunts Marshal is dead. There we go. Okay, now we just have to go over here and fight 3 full stacks of U1 bow. So I am going to turn off control large army so we can just 20v20 these guys, which should make my life a lot easier because, you know, I'm the one with the entire army of dinosaurs. Yeah, you know, it's possible I didn't realize just how much more horrifying my army's gotten. The garrison also spawns no matter what I do, so we do kind of have to use them. Although, if I'm being honest, I don't think we need them. Now, it's worth remembering that they do have some of the scariest and hardest hitting halberd infantry over here, which is why we have Lord Croak. U1 Bow is also just getting gooned in here. I mean, I think he forgot how to turn into a dragon or something. Alternatively, he could have the experience of being fisted by a Tyrannosaurus Rex. Actually, not sure how that would work. But I'm just gonna fast forward as we move the blob forward, and it just, you know, expected results. Nothing to see here, people. Just standard, normal dinosaur parade. Well, that went about as well as I was expecting. Come on in, guys. The battlefield is very safe. Well, you know, I would kind of hate to be this reinforcing army. It's not really the ideal location. Don't worry, guys. I know this might look like a valiant defeat, but we have reinforcements. I think what makes this so special is that he doesn't have any busted trinkets or any crazy items or spells. His power level is just due to him and nothing else. Gor-rok is not throwing hands. He just throws the whole building. Well, to make things a little bit easier, I'm gonna go ahead and just recruit 3 more of our skink chiefs, all of them at max level. Oh, look, 3 ancient Stegot. Ah, yes, lots of mounts. You know, at this point, I'm not even fighting the armies. I'm actually just running by them because I'm just gonna get to the main capture point, take the city, and then win. Meanwhile, Gor-rok is just being shot the whole time, but, you know, he obviously does not care. Okay, we are on turn 104, and I have finally achieved the short campaign victory. Technically, I also started working towards the long campaign victory as well, but at some point, we've pretty much won. I've essentially conquered everything all the way up to the Dark Elves, and pretty much everyone in Lustria is either allied with us or very dead. Not to mention that I have space for an entirely new 20 stack of heroes. So I would pretty resoundingly chalk this one up to a win. Beating Total Warhammer 3 with only heroes, very possible. Beating Total Warhammer 3 with only gor-rok, maybe also possible. Big thanks to Displayed for sponsoring this video. Thanks for watching. See ya.